You are listening to the Old Titans, and I almost got away with saying only one Old Titan because the other one is running really, really late, and he walked in at the last second. Here he is, the one, the only, the ruler of the universe, the master of disaster. What were the other Apollo Creed things?
I'm now a prophet.
You're now a prophet? I didn't know that. Yeah,
I am.
The one and only B-Man. And, of course, I'm John Paul.
You started recording without me, really?
I started recording.
You knew I stepped off for a second.
I wanted to have fun with it today. I wanted
you?
to shake things up. I tell you, we do not have a special guest today joining us. We do?
Do we?
You are going to find our special guest. And
I looked for the special guest. I could not find the special guest.
so we will not have a special guest for today.
So while you were actually starting the recording without me, and my knowledge, by the way, you that's cool. No big deal.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was
fun to do it. So, feels like it's been forever since we recorded an episode. I think that's because it's been forever since we recorded an episode.
It was a week ago.
Was it?
It was literally
It's been a long week. I don't know about you, but I think yours has probably been longer. But
yeah, well, that's fine.
Yeah, that's the way it is. All right, so we're going to start out the way we always start out, with the B-Man question of the week.
If you could reboot any TV show from the 80s, 70s area-ish, make it modern, what show would that be?
Modern show. What would I reboot? I thought about it long and hard. I thought about it for about 5 minutes. I didn't give it as much thought as normal. I decided this is a present for you, the one I chose, because I threw out the immediate first thoughts of like A-Team and other shows that I really enjoy that would be fun to see again.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it'd be fun to see them again because I like the originals. I don't want to see those rebooted. The one I want to see rebooted has already been rebooted once, and I want us to forget about it and wipe it out of existence. And I want them to reboot Transformers and wipe out the current Michael Bay reboot stuff and go back to what is real Transformers.
The cartoon series?
Yeah, but you can reboot it live action still. You can still go live action, but...
That'd be expensive, wouldn't it, though, for a TV show?
You didn't give me any kind of,
Well, I mean, I figured you
parameters.
Were the budget. Yeah, there's a budget for TV shows. Fox cancel in a day.
I thought you'd appreciate the fact that I was trying to wipe Michael Bay's version out of existence.
No, I actually blocked it off memory.
Oh, okay. So it's actually painful to hear me bring it up.
I actually cried a little bit inside.
If I think of a different one, I'll let you know.
Well, that's a good reboot, though.
Okay. And I enjoyed Transformers. That's part of it.
Yeah, well, I loved it. But again, budget, I don't think it'd happen.
Yeah. And again, I discounted the A-Team because I loved it, but I don't know that they could get that kind of chemistry again. Sitcoms like WKRP, there's several of these they've tried.
And they tried WKRP, right?
They tried WKRP. They tried MASH. They tried Knight Rider a couple of times. They've tried a bunch of them. And it kind of shows you that the ones that are really special that stand out to us, it's not something you can force. It just happens. And so... I think we probably shouldn't do any of them unless we're trying to fix something that someone has done. Ooh, there we go, Quantum Leap. Fix something that once went wrong.
Yeah. Great show with a bad ending.
Yeah, but again, that's one you could probably reboot.
Yeah.
There you don't have to have the entire chemistry of everything. You just have to have one really good actor who can do that.
You need two. Sam and Al.
Well, you do need Sam, but 90% of the show is... the one actor being able to play the different parts and be comfortable doing that.
Okay. See, I'm actually thinking everybody likes cop shows. There's always cop shows and that kind of stuff out there. Nothing special. Bounty hunter shows. I was thinking of bounty hunter shows.
Fall Guy?
Fall Guy, indeed.
Oh, he went there.
I went to the Fall Guy, man. That was one of the greatest shows. I loved it when I was a kid. Absolutely loved it. And they left it alone for a while. Nothing heard. Nobody talks about Fall Guy ever. Why?
Just so you know, 2 years ago now, almost 2 years, this September will be 2 years, I actually got to not meet face-to-face, but sitting in a room probably not more than 20 feet away from Lee Majors. They had both the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman at Dragon Con, and it was great. It was a small room. I expected more people to show up, but it was great. I was at the front row listening to him talk, and they brought up the Fall Guy. People have very fond memories. And at many conventions, he has sung the opening theme song for the audience. Really? We couldn't get him to do it at this one, but he has gone through singing the whole. I'm not even going to try to sing it. I'm not going to torture people with that.
You should.
Nah, if I suddenly feel like it, if I suddenly feel like it later on, I'll break into song. But otherwise, I love the Fall Guy. It was great.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if it was great, but it was fun.
It was fun.
It was because of him.
Right.
Really, the other cast, not so much.
When did you see him? You said it was a couple years ago?
Yeah.
How old is he now? He got to be in the 70s, right?
Yeah. Well, and he was just on Ash versus the Evil Dead this past season.
Was he really?
Yeah, I mean, I've commented that, with each generation we seem to have one actor who kind of is that embodiment of the cheesy sci-fi manly man role.
Mm-hmm.
The current one, of course, would be Bruce Campbell. But Bruce Campbell's even kind of hitting the end of that, and we're transitioning to somebody new, whoever that somebody new is.
Nathan Fillion, I think.
Yeah, but you're probably right. Nathan Fillion probably has taken over from him, but even he is probably transitioning. They probably overlap too much.
Probably.
Lee Majors would have been that actor for his time. Well, Lee Majors was cast as Bruce Campbell's dad on Ash vs. the Evil Dead.
That's actually a great cast.
That was perfect
Never even
casting.
thought of that.
Yeah, that was great. So he was on there. So no, Fall Guy, I like that. I would watch that, at least try.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try Dynasty, which is being rebooted, by the way. That's being rebooted on the CW sometime coming up soon, and yeah, that isn't happening.
It kind of broke my heart because I used to love V back in the day.
Yeah.
And they made that into another series, and
Just didn't work.
it didn't catch up for me now.
It didn't work.
So yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to the news now. We definitely want to make sure we get to our big topics of the week, so we'll get to the news real quick. Got a handful of items, some of which good, some of which not so good. One confusing one. All right, so Spider-Man. We've talked Spider-Man. The new movie coming up, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yep.
Spider-Man is now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
He was in the last big airport fight in Civil War. He's going to have his own movie. He's going to have Tony Stark, Iron Man in there. That's as much as a part of it as you can be. They're working on a Venom movie. And they have officially announced, as of a day or two ago, that Venom will not be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they didn't mean as in they're not going to cross over. They meant it's not part of the universe. I'm just not sure how they do that.
Yeah, I think it was DC to be okay with this. But since it's Marvel, you're a little bit more, judgmental, what Marvel does.
Well,
And for me, I don't get it. I can't say this. No, it makes no sense to me.
yeah.
You need Spider-Man with Venom.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
I mean, you can say it's not going to cross over. That's fine. Just say, we're going to make this kind of like Deadpool or something. We're going to make this more violent, more adult, more whatever. And we're just not going to cross it over, so we don't have to have kids going to the wrong movies. That's fine. But make it part of the same universe. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kind of weird. All right. Titanic reunion coming up, which I know both of us are just huge Titanic fans, which, well, to be fair, I haven't watched it.
Well, as always, an uninvited guest comes to our show. Why does this always happen to us, John Paul?
Because I can always sense you. I know when you're in the middle of doing something
went to
important.
a different recording room.
I know, that's why I
and
can
you
sense
still
you. It's like
found us.
ESP. It's like, it's what time is it? Oh, it's time for me to go bug you.
Although technically she was invited this time. She's just late.
Who
very,
invited
very
her?
late. You did.
I did not invite her.
Actually, yes, you did. Matter of fact, I have a text message
No, you put the
from
text
you
away. I don't want to hear it.
that says, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm on my way," because I had a thing called a job I had to do.
So we were in the middle of the news, so we'll just let you flow right in here to our comments that we make on all these odd things. We were saying Titanic review, because both of us were such huge Titanic fans, as in neither of us saw it, right?
I saw it.
You saw it? Okay, I didn't even see it, because, well, the ship sinks. Spoiler alert, just for the
Good one,
record.
John Paul. You need to get the spoiler first.
For the record, for the rest of this episode, we're probably going to mention spoilers on lots of different things. Just going to throw that out there right now. But yeah, Titanic reunion is coming up on the CW, on a DC show. Believe it or not, I'm going to have a news story about a DC TV show.
No.
Billy Zane has been cast. He's going to play P.T. Barnum on Legends of Tomorrow, which is kind of cool. This last season, they did a lot of this. They brought in George Lucas. They brought in
You could afford to bring in
Tolkien.
George Lucas?
No, they had people cast in them as they're time
okay.
traveling, and they influenced these people in their lives and all. It was kind of cool. Well, Billy Zane's been cast on there, and Victor Garber's on there. And it's the first time they'll have been on screen together since Titanic, so that's kind of cool. So we get a little Titanic reunion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It gotta
I'm
be
excited.
said.
I'm very excited.
Gotta be said.
I'm very excited for you.
By the way, today that we're recording is June 15th, so we missed this by one day. But do y'all know what was important about June 14th? Yesterday?
Yes, it was important yesterday.
It's very important. I'm seeing quizzical looks over here, and I can't give you a...
It rained a lot.
Yeah, it did rain a lot. It could be because the Flash was vibrating between universes at that point, creating disturbances. Because June 14th, 1961 was the day that the Flash discovered the DC multiverse. So yesterday was the 56th anniversary of the discovery of the DC multiverse in the comics.
Oh,
so it was
cool.
Multiverse Day. So
Happy
kinda
Multiverse
cool.
Day, everyone, across
Thanks.
all multiple universes.
Yes, all multi-universes across.
And I wonder if all
certainly.
multiple universes that we have, if you only followed the DC websites for news. Is that what you do? Seriously? You like look up DC websites?
Even in the Marvel universes, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, crazy.
Could be.
That's
Could
probably
be.
what it is.
And then I've got to get to, I guess in a way it's DC news, but I don't think you'll make fun of this one because this is what it is. This is our sad news for the week. Adam West,
Yes.
everyone's favorite Batman, died Friday, June 9th, age 88, after a short bout with leukemia. So,
I was very lucky enough to see him and Burt Ward last year at MegaCon.
yes,
for
that
their
was
panel.
that was a great panel.
I was very, very lucky to get to see both of them. My
I
condolences
was
to his
not, actually,
family.
because I was stuck at work as a John Paul. That's right. I blame you for that.
You blame me?
I don't know
Okay.
why.
Well, I was at the panel as well, and it was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say, he was in great shape.
Yeah.
I mean,
For 87 years old, yeah.
right. And I mean, obviously, it was the leukemia that was the
Yeah,
final
of course.
thing. And since they said short bout, I'm assuming he either did not have it at that point or was not yet aware of it at that point, because he seemed to be, again, fantastic shape,
Yeah.
better than Christopher Lloyd, physically better shape than Stan Lee.
Well,
Now,
Stan Lee's also 10 years older than he is,
No.
isn't he?
About 5 years.
Oh, only 5
Maybe
years
6,
older?
5 to 6 years.
5, 6 years older?
Which, I mean, at that point, 5 to 6 years can be a lot of development or a lot of development, decline.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they'd have to sit there and compare elements as old people tend to do, and I'm sure we will all do as we get older, even though we're called old titans. We're not quite at the compare every ache and pain daily
Oh, I
stage.
do all the time,
You
actually.
do? Okay.
I have a chance to complain about something, I'll take it.
Yeah, I know. I believe
You know, I'm
me,
not
I
talking to
know.
you.
But it is really cool tonight. I think you posted something that's happening tonight on our Facebook page.
I have not on our Facebook. Oh, we have Facebook, don't we?
Oh, is it Twitter?
You keep forgetting
I
about your
have-
social media. This is why people
No,
don't listen to
I
you.
do the Twitter. John Paul does the Facebook, which is why we have no activity on Facebook.
Well, I was throwing it to you to let you mention the news if you want. The
You know,
event.
they're actually going to be lighting a bat signal in LA, right?
Yep. 9 o'clock tonight, Pacific time, so midnight our time. Yeah, it's, and I was wondering, are they just certain there's going to be enough cloud cover? No, they're doing it against a building.
Which is
Jesus,
just fine.
that's fine. It'd be really cool if there was such heavy cloud cover or fog. It is LA. It could be fog.
Yeah, or smog.
Smog, yeah, I guess it's more smog, not fog. They said there's going to be a bunch of special guests that they haven't announced yet, probably because this last minute they're probably still lining them up.
Right.
Yeah.
They're encouraging people who show up for it to dress up. You know, so
So are you buying that ticket to LA? Oh, I'm sorry, are you buying that ticket to LA?
Why would I buy the ticket to LA?
Because you're the bigger you're the bigger
No.
DC
I'm
fan.
the
You're
DC
the Marvel
fan, but he's the bigger Batman fan.
True. See, that's the
true.
thing. So, are you both buying tickets to LA?
Neither of us. I
Okay, you
believe.
know where I work, you know how much I get paid. Well, you don't know that, but you can probably
I
figure
don't know
can't
how much
afford
you
that.
get paid, but I do know where you work.
Yeah.
Jumbo, how much does he get paid?
No, you know,
It's
we're
enough.
talking about this. What do you mean it's enough?
For now, how about that?
For now.
Okay.
That works.
But no, I would love to be there. I absolutely would love to be there.
I would
It's a
too. That'd be
fantastic
cool.
event. It's obviously not one of those things you can really plan for. It'd be great if they were having these all across the country.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fine. But it's still sad news. I didn't want the day to pass without mentioning it. We did watch the original Adam West Batman movie the day after. We didn't get to that night, but the next day we watched the Batman movie. Fantastic. Enjoyed it. For what it is. I mean, do not go into it expecting the Dark Knight.
I will agree with you saying I enjoy it.
It's campy. It's
It's
very
fantastic. I don't know, probably use that word, but
Well, fantastic in the fact that they went into it trying to make it as campy as possible, trying to get every actor to put everything they had into their parts, and they succeeded. I mean, these are some big name actors they had in this. I mean, it was not nobody's.
that was the exploding shark, right?
Yes, that had the
Okay.
Yeah.
exploding shark.
campy.
That was the same shark that was in Jaws. That was his first role, actually.
Was it really?
Yeah, see,
That
it was a big
Bruce's
name.
first role?
Yeah, it was
Bruce's
Bruce's a big
first
name.
picture.
Yeah.
I don't actually buy that. But,
But yeah, you got a few big names in there.
well, speaking of that fact you gave that's not true, again, separating from the news for a second here.
Okay.
A couple of our listeners questioned your comment from last week.
Somebody questioned us?
Yes. Now, I defended you.
Okay.
We actually have, you've probably heard of these guys. They're actually our sister podcast.
Oh, I'm supposed to be on their show too later.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Well, I will say this. If they're questioning our facts that we've mentioned,
Yes.
and it doesn't require much effort to go look this up, sounds like they're hardly working at it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
okay.
Hey.
Well, last week, John Paul made a comment of how Wonder Woman is breaking records left and right. The little one from How to Work said this is not the case. John Paul,
Yes.
would you like to verify how they are breaking records left and right?
Well, if you want to get very, very, very technical, left and right is two sides. So they only have to break two records for my statement to be accurate.
Left and right was more of a boxing term, which is left, right, left, right.
Well, yeah, I understand, but I'm saying at the time I mentioned a couple of records. Like it was the biggest opening for any movie in Hollywood directed by a woman, which is
That is true.
accurate.
That is very accurate.
There's no denying that.
Okay.
The last one I believe was 50 Shades of Grey or something like that, and then before that I don't even know what it was. You know, there's not many of them.
Right.
It'd be easy to
And sadly,
find them.
only one good one.
Yeah. So there was that.
Okay.
If memory serves, since I didn't go look this up before, if memory serves, they had the biggest Tuesday of any movie in June,
Whoa.
which I know gets really, really specific, but it is a record. There was an article, and this one I definitely can't remember the details behind, but that it was tracking better in its second weekend than Iron Man 1 and 2 and Man of Steel. Now, what tracking better means, I don't know if that means it had less of a drop-off, was on pace to make more, or what that definition means, I don't know. But there were a number of articles that came out right around our last podcast that I'm just repeating what they say. Yeah, I'm not a journalist. I don't claim to be one or play one on TV, so I'm not going to really worry about it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
he's covered, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I will agree that it is probably the best DC film
No,
that they've come out since the
that's easy. That's easy to do.
True.
I mean, I can make the best DC movie when I'm in the bathroom one day.
I
if
thought-
you want me to.
I thought you said The Dark Knight was the best DC
The
movie.
DC Cinematic Universe
DC
movie.
The new one, okay.
Yeah, the new
All right.
one. Not the
Dark-
that's the Nolan verse.
The Dark Knight's
Yeah.
still better, yes.
Yeah.
I kind of like this better than The Dark Knight by just the tiniest
I
bit.
have
And that's fine, but you're wrong.
I have critiques, particularly cinematic direction critiques.
Okay.
I mean, the overall plot, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a very good movie. I do think the cinematic director might need to calm down just a hair. It was just a lot of really close up to the face that kind of made me uncomfortable. Granted, we were kind of sitting in the first row because we were late to
That
the
might have
movie.
had something to do with it. Well, this does make a good segue since at the end of our news, our main topic for the week was going to be a review of Wonder Woman. So we segued into that really, really well.
Awesome.
So thank you for that. Hard
You're
at work,
welcome.
people.
You're welcome.
Sorry, you thought I was thanking you.
Well,
It's really not.
why did you point at me with hard to work?
Well, you
To
mentioned
confuse you.
their comments and to
Which, by the
confuse
way,
you.
you're actually going to be in hard to work soon, aren't you?
They mentioned they would like me to stop by to talk about the time many moons ago when I owned a comic book shop, comic gaming, that type of thing.
Aw, how come you sold it?
Well, because
Okay, that's
you'll
fair.
you'll have to tune into their show to find that out whenever they
Okay,
decide to
alright.
have me on. There we go. There's our teaser.
Well, then now that you have the podcast going, you have to reopen up the comic book
I'm
shop.
just kind of concerned what's going to happen to John Paul's ears once he goes in that show. See, we're more the work-friendly show. They're the show you want to listen to in your car by yourself.
No, that's Brian's show.
Well, it happens. All right, so back to Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Okay, so I believe based on the comments y'all already made, the general consensus is this was a great movie.
It's a good movie.
Really good.
Really good.
Okay,
Really good.
not great, just
I
really
had
good.
my critiques.
Okay,
I had
okay,
my
that's
critiques,
fine.
but they're not around the actors. The actors, I think, did a very good job. I think there were some third arc problems, lots of cinematic direction issues, but other than that, the movie as a whole was very, very good.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 9.
Okay, so
That sounds like great.
that sounds great to me, yeah.
Yeah. 7 sounds good. 9 sounds great. So
I don't rate movies often, so maybe it's more like an 8. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I have my
Okay.
critiques, but I enjoyed it.
Would you see it again in the theaters?
In theaters, no.
Okay. All right.
I would say at the theater.
Yeah, I would too. I enjoyed it that much.
Again, in theaters, no, I think the once was enough for me. But granted, I'm cheap, so the idea of paying for a movie twice.
I would do it for two reasons. One, in the opening where you have little Diana running around, and you have the big training field. There was so much going on in that field. I want to be able to watch more of that. Because the first time through it, you're really watching her. And they focus on a few people, but outside of where the camera is directing you, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and I really want to be able to look around. So that's one reason to see it again, and on a big screen where it's really easy to see. The other reason is the best scene in the movie, at least
Crossing
for me,
No Man's Land?
when she starts up the ladder and
Yes.
then to cross. I want to see that again to see if it has the same effect on me. Again, the second time.
That did kind of fire me. I kind of wanted to jump out of my seat when that happened. That was kind of awesome.
Yeah. When she busted in that building and the theme kicked on, I was like, yes. I love that theme. That's best
I
theme.
can criticize the movie a lot. I mean, just nitpick here and there.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
one slight problem I have is a lot of German scenes, which was no subtitles. I mean, they should be speaking German. Probably just something small like that. And the battle on the Amazon. What's that island called?
Themyscira? Or you can just say Paradise Island.
Paradise Island works better, yeah.
Okay.
Picture this, all right?
Okay.
You're a bunch of guys off at war.
Yeah.
By yourself, all these, who knows how long you're at war for.
Right.
You go to this island full of beautiful women. Even though they're harboring your bad guy, or your villain, whatever it is, you're probably not going to open fire on them. That's kind of hard to believe right there.
These were the Germans in World War One. They're in the middle of fighting. And I think, actually, the Amazons fired first, I believe.
I don't believe so.
They might not have. They might not have.
From the cliff, I believe so. I think you're right.
No, I don't think so.
We'd have to go, that's another one to go back and look.
Well,
Did they do a volley? You know, sort of the big volley of all the arrows flying over before they landed?
And
I know that they did the cliff rope thing where they launched off the cliff.
That was cool.
Yeah, and shooting arrows at them. I don't
Was
know.
there almost too much slow motion there?
I didn't think of it right there. The only place slow motion bothered me was in the final fight with Ares.
Yeah, I think that's...
I thought there was too much slow motion there. Maybe it didn't bother me on the beach scene because there's so much going on. Slow motion helps you stop and notice it all.
Okay.
But when it's two characters only fighting, you don't need the slow motion. You just need to show the fight.
Right.
That third act was like the people writing it realized, oh wait, we have to have a big final boss scene. Because after you do the No Man's Land, which was just fantastic, they're like, oh crap, how do we top this? Oh my goodness, we have to have a final boss scene. And I think they just kind of accidentally threw one together.
Except their boss was perfect.
I like the twist. Well, sorry, spoiler. There's a twist.
Well, we already said there was spoilers, so this is all a spoiler
I like the
review.
twist. I thought it was a good twist. I liked the fact that I genuinely thought that Dr. Poison was a failed statue experiment with the faceplates and whatnot.
Right.
I thought that Ares had tried to made a statue of her, tried to bring her to life, and that leftover pieces on her face was the part where the statue hadn't completely turned into a person. I was like, oh, I wish they had done that.
Yeah.
And it kind of sort of led me in that direction. Didn't quite flesh out that way, but overall, yeah.
Well, that's where knowing characters from the comics, I didn't think that about her. But unfortunately, a year and a half ahead of time, I saw where they posted that Remus Lupin from Harry Potter cast as Ares on Wonder Woman, and
What?
that was in the headline.
That's so mean.
So I knew going in. Of course, at the time, I didn't think it'd be a big deal because I didn't know they were going to make it a secret in the story.
Yeah.
I figured you just know he's Ares
Oh,
all
I had no
along.
idea, but I figured it out.
I mean, it didn't take me
I'm sure
long to
plenty of
figure
people
it out,
did,
but you mean, it didn't take me long. But it's like that. They really did that. That is
Yeah.
so mean.
Well,
Thankfully, I missed that article, but still.
It's like
What
Sixth
happened?
Sense, so the ghost is comes back and says, no. Yeah, I just... Anyways.
I would have been very upset with the article people,
Yeah.
but
But it was, but the look for him, where they went with Ares at the end there, just the visual, his costume and everything else was perfect for his look in the comic.
it is okay. Good.
Yes,
I'm glad they
that
kept
was
accurate.
that was great. And I was worried that when I heard they'd cast an actor, especially one who's not big and bulky, it's like, oh, they're not going to actually do Ares, not the way I think of Ares, the way George Perez drew him, and the look that he had there at the end. But it worked. What they did worked in the end. So
I agree. I agree. I mean, overall, I said it was a good movie. I'm glad I saw it. I can nitpick it all I want, but again,
Yeah.
from point A to point B, it was just great.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we can probably nitpick almost any movie in existence if you want to
Absolutely.
really get
For
down
example,
to
one
it.
of your favorite movies is Twilight.
Yeah, yeah.
I can nitpick that. That movie's
I
terrible.
don't know if it's one of my favorites, but it's definitely one I enjoy.
It's probably what your top 5.
No, not even quite there. Not
Okay.
quite there. Top 100? Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know.
Thoughts on Zack Snyder no longer being the forefront of the DC Cinematic Universe?
I think his days were probably numbered with Justice League anyway. But I don't know if anybody noticed, at the end of Wonder Woman, when the credits were rolling, and it says screenplay by, Zack Snyder was one of the names. He wasn't the only one, but he did have a hand in writing a lot of it.
Explains a lot of the cinematic direction issues I kind of had issues with.
I think he needed to step away.
I didn't want it to happen the way it did.
No, exactly.
Nobody did. That's because no matter how much we
Disagree with
disagree
his
with
direction.
his style, this would include all the Michael Bays and anybody else we've ever mentioned. That's about their movie. It's not about the people. We don't want anything bad to happen to anybody
Of course.
doing any of this. Just because we want to transfer to Michael Bay's house or something. We don't want anything bad, right?
Yeah.
No, that's Michael Bay's different.
Okay. But no, all joking aside, we don't want that way. But I think probably Justice League was going to be the end of it for Zack Snyder anyway. Unless something amazing happened.
Because I'm pretty sure he also directed the Justice League movie, but Joss Whedon picked up the editing after.
now
what
that the
happened.
transitions happened. In fact, we've just seen the latest, just kind of a news item, the latest fallout of that is Junkie XL, which I think is kind of a weird name or whatever. He's the one who did the soundtrack for Man of Steel, Batman, Superman, several of those kind of movies. Definitely Batman vs. Superman, I think Man of Steel, but Junkie XL, okay, whatever. Anyway, he just got replaced. Not his choice, he didn't step away, but he's got replaced on doing the score for Justice League. Danny Elfman's now going to be doing it. And you have to assume that that's Joss Whedon having a hand in that.
Well, I mean, he's doing the reshoots too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Joss Whedon is.
Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting turnout.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I think it's for the best. I mean,
I
don't want to trash Zack Snyder with what's going on in his life, but at the same point too, his movies can get really boring. They can get extremely boring.
He has the problem of wanting to show stuff visually and make people focus on it like it's a painting and spend time enjoying it, which makes the movie drag in certain points.
Right.
We've mentioned that before, the flood scene and where Superman's hanging above the waters and the people on the roof reaching towards him. Okay, we get it. Just have him fly down and save them.
Right.
We don't need that visual painting. If we want that, do a painting and hang it in a gallery, and I'll go look at it, and I'll spend time looking at it and enjoy it.
Will you go to the gallery, John Paul?
Probably would.
Would you really?
I've been to art galleries before.
The Twilight ones?
No.
Okay.
Actually, my favorite one was actually, it was Norman Rockwell paintings.
You know what? This is going off topic.
Well, it's okay. Norman Rockwell paintings.
You
But
brought it up.
it was
I
from
did.
George
I read it.
Lucas or Steven Spielberg or both their collections. They donated them to one of the Smithsonian's, and they were doing a Norman Rockwell exhibit. And that was probably my favorite art exhibit I ever saw. Was all the different Norman Rockwell paintings from, all the different
And
years.
this is why I hate bringing up topics sometimes, because he will answer them.
My favorite art gallery is probably still going to be
we're still going on
artists.
this.
Yeah, let's still go.
No.
But back to Wonder Woman then. So, since that was our topic, I do believe something's going to happen with Wonder Woman now. First, it's going to make lots of money. There's no question.
Right.
It's going to do really well. I do think, based on its pace, it's probably going to beat Man of Steel. I don't know if it'll beat Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman.
As far as money goes?
Yeah, money. Dollar-wise.
It will be
Is it still in theaters?
Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, it's only had 2 weekends, so
Is
it's
it
going to go
more-
for
Well, weeks.
Here's because you're right about the Tuesday thing, right? And now that people are like getting very, very good reviews for this movie, it might in the long run beat out.
It'll depend. I've looked at the week-to-week numbers for the other movies, and it's about on pace with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It'll probably beat it, but it's about on pace with that, which was not $1 or $2 million below the other two. It was 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 million below. I doubt it'll be able to catch up to those. It'd be great if it does.
Yeah.
But it also has in between Cars, Transformers, Spider-Man. It has a bunch of big movies coming out in the next few weeks that's gonna. It probably has one more week where it can do really well. I mean, significantly well. Not only is it its third week, but you got Cars 3, which is the third in Cars has not been as big as Toy Story, and is definitely aimed at slightly younger than Wonder Woman is. And the new Shark movie is coming out.
47 meters down, which
Thank
looks
you.
great, actually.
It depends on, I miss Bruce.
No.
I miss
no,
Bruce.
mm-mm.
The Shark movies have gone downhill since Bruce retired.
Well, yeah, but there haven't been any good ones since that happened.
I mean, you're not
Right.
wrong.
But I don't think either one of those movies are going to pull anything significant away from Wonder Woman.
No.
So because of that, it probably has one more good weekend. And then you hit Transformers, and then you hit Spider-Man, then you hit War for Planet of the Apes, Dunkirk. You got several in a row that are going to be big.
Right.
So you probably get one more good weekend, and we'll see just what the drop is on this. But I think no matter what it does that way, it's going to do so well that I bet most of the marketing between now and November that focuses on Justice League is going to heavily, heavily focus on Wonder Woman. Because up to now, there's been a lot of Batman focus. But I think Wonder Woman's going to become more front and center in the marketing campaign. It doesn't mean that the movie will change any, but the marketing campaigns will feature her a lot.
I just hope that they don't put any more spoilers in the trailers. That's all I hope for.
I haven't seen the trailers. I'm actually not
Good.
watching them at this point. I
Good.
can't shut them off. And I don't think they look... The trailers, to me, I'm sorry, Jump, I would disagree with you. Didn't look that great.
I really enjoyed the one that's in front of Wonder Woman. That's kind of they've modified it a little bit over time, but it's kind of been the main Justice League
I
trailer.
just haven't seen it. I haven't seen that one yet. What
I
I've seen in
think-
the movie so far is Flash looks terrible.
I think
It's terrible.
Cyborg is too shiny. As someone who works with 3D materials all day, they need to lower his roughness significantly.
He looks too CGI to me. He looks pure CGI.
I know it's because he's so shiny looking.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
But again, I don't like the way he looks.
Of course, we haven't seen a ton of him. We saw a little bit of the trailer. We
Right.
haven't seen a ton. Flash is one I completely agreed with you, and I still mostly do, except this last trailer. Not only do you see him standing there, where it looks terrible, but you see him in motion fighting, I don't know if it's a parademon or what, but he's fighting somebody or something. And some of the stuff we complain about in the Flash TV show with Grant Gustin, which not his fault, but some of the stuff where, in order to get the plot to move forward, he'll show up and stop and stand there and, ha ha ha, I caught you, villain, but I'm going to stand here and let you get off a shot before I do anything. Oh no, you caught me in your trap.
Yeah.
That level action. The Flash can move so fast, it's very hard to catch him in anything. The action showed that. They had him zip in, stop, dodge, 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 punch out, punch out. The action he looked really good in. So
Okay.
I'm crossing my fingers that the Flash works in the action sequences. Aquaman I thought was great. I think Aquaman will be the breakout character from this movie.
He looks cool, but again, that's not Aquaman from the comics. I don't care what you say, it's not Aquaman from the
But
comics.
he's gonna look so good.
Again, but it's not Aquaman. That's John Paul's biggest pet peeve of the Spider-Man movie is that's not Aquaman. It's not. There you go, right, Tara.
Thank you.
She disagreed with you, so you know.
No, she didn't disagree.
I did disagree with him. Yep.
What was your disagreement?
I disagree that it's not that you don't think it's going to be Aquaman. I think that Aquaman is allowed to dye his hair and grow it out.
Well, he grows it out quite often in the comics. That's
See,
in fact,
that's
it's
not
currently
Pet
long.
peeve. He seems like a surfer dude, Aquaman.
Oh, he's from Hawaii. The actor.
Okay, but Aquaman himself is not from Hawaii. He's from Atlantis, actually, and lives in
I-
Boston.
I'm aware.
Arthur Curry.
Yes.
I think the biggest problem he might have is this is really Khal Curry instead of Aquaman. Is Khal Drago.
No, what? No.
Game of Thrones.
Doesn't bother me
no.
at all. Doesn't bother me at all.
Doesn't bother you? Okay. Because when I first saw him, the look, I immediately thought Khal Drago.
Well, it looks like Khal Drago.
Yeah.
He does, I will admit that.
That's who he is. So I mean,
But,
that's
but,
okay.
but the visual look, I mean, you can change an actor's look quite a bit with hair and everything else. They made him look like Khal Drago.
Okay.
I have no issue
Again,
with it. But
it's-
granted, I haven't read that many Aquaman comics, so I'm not emotionally attached to that look.
Most people are not emotionally attached to Aquaman, which is probably why they'll get away with it.
I'm not emotionally attached to him at all.
I don't know. I'm not feeling some
I don't
emotional
Really? Because I'm feeling
stress.
some emotional attachment.
No,
You said you're
I just-
unhappy about the
I'm
whole
just
thing.
saying, John Paul is known to criticize Marvel characters for not being exactly like the comic books.
True.
Yet ignores the DC characters who are not like the comic books and say, "Oh, that looks great, though."
Not always. Gotham. We both agree that Gotham, no matter how much they've done good with different characters, I don't think of Gotham as really Batman.
Well, it's not Batman. They
It's
totally
not
destroyed Batman's
Bruce
story.
Right.
Wayne.
'cause it's-
That whole
So
show.
I
went
agree
off
with
the
you on that.
rails.
This one I'm reserving judgment. I'm saying right now I think of the breakout character because of what little we've seen. I think is going to be.
But again, when
Really
Justice
cool.
League comes out, you're going to love it. We know you're going to love it.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope so.
I'm thinking
I think it would take a lot for you to not love it.
Yes, I actually agree with.
Wow.
The very terror.
And the earth is shaking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might have happened a little bit.
But, it's, yes, I agree. Most likely I will love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to love it. I'm going in with the expectation to. Why? Because, well, why not? I'm more likely to enjoy it that way.
Right.
And if I'm going to spend a whole bunch of money because ticket prices are so high these days, if that helps me feel like I got my money's worth, then yay.
How long is the movie? Did they say that? Yeah.
I don't think they've said on that.
Okay. Because if it's Zack Snyder's, probably about 2 hours 40 minutes. My guess.
I don't know, with Joss Whedon editing, might be shorter.
I don't know Josh Whedon could edit out Batman v Superman, make like a 10-minute long movie. I think it'd be great.
I'm betting it's 2.5. I don't know what it'll be, but I'm betting it ends up being 2.5.
Okay.
Plus, you do have the Justice League being formed. You're going to have the normal fighting type stuff. You're going to have the teaming up. You're going to have the fighting the villains.
Right.
You're going to have a lot to go through because you got so many characters. Because they did not do what Marvel did and did not introduce every single one of these characters first, they're going to have to go through a lot of introductions on these characters.
I know that they're trying to catch up right now because they're behind by several movies. But I feel like they're going backwards and they're rushing it too fast. I mean, I think Justice League should be 3-4 movies from now, minimum.
Wow, I gotta once again agree with her.
I'm
gonna leave.
And I will say, I originally wondered why they were doing it that way, but there is one difference. If you walk out on the street, rewind 10 years ago, forget what we've seen from the movies recently because they've been so big. Walking out on the street and just grab the average, people, not comic geeks, not people who would listen to a podcast like this and so on, and you start listing names: Iron Man, Thor, Ant-Man, Mr. Arrow Guy, Hawkeye, thank you, Black Widow.
Mr. Arrow Guy, huh?
Yeah, well, it's Jeremy Renner plays so many characters. See, I got his name.
You did, I
Yeah,
did that one.
but you got list all the Avengers characters that were in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them would people say, I don't know that character, I think I've heard of that character, oh, I know them. I mean, the Hulk, they're going to know.
Yeah.
Beyond the Hulk, and if you take people knowing Norse mythology out of the picture, knowing it as a superhero, I have a feeling the Hulk is the only one that they would all absolutely, without question.
Captain America.
No. Captain America, yes.
Yeah.
Most of them will know Captain America. Could be not all of them could tell you anything about Captain America. Almost everybody could tell you something about the Hulk.
Right.
Again, because he had the TV show. Now flip that to the Justice League. You start going down Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman. The average person on the street is going to know some of them
The
intimately.
animated series really help with that too,
You
though.
have animated. You have the Super Friends from the 70s. You had George Reeves. You had Adam West. You had Linda Carter. They've become such a part of American culture and the world's culture. Everybody knows them. You can start a couple of steps ahead with Justice League that you can't do with the Avengers. That doesn't mean it's the right way to go, but they can do it, and it's not skipping as many steps as Marvel would have skipped.
Right. I think Cyborg would probably be the only one who would need any real introduction for people who haven't seen Teen Titans.
Right.
Okay.
So there we go. So we're going to see. But the bottom line is we all give Wonder Woman, whether it's an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I think it was good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. I'd give it probably a 4.9 out of 5 stars.
Well, but you were going to.
Well, no, it could have been lower than that.
It could have been a 4, you're right.
I will say
It could have been a 3.5.
Okay, actually, between Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad, what was better?
Between Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Wonder Woman. That's not even a contest.
Wonder
This is
Woman was a better movie. Suicide Squad got the characters equally as right. They did not have as good a villain and did not have the story structure as good. But Wonder Woman had that. But I think they both got the characters equally right.
See, Wonder Woman was a better movie.
Wonder Woman was a better movie.
Okay.
A
So,
plus.
Wonder Woman was better than Avengers, in your opinion.
Yeah.
See, this is not.
Avengers 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Again, this is why John Paul is wrong. Just wrong.
Well, it's like asking somebody their favorite James Bond or something like that. I mean,
Cliffhanger.
well, I don't mean movie. I mean, which actor?
Oh, Sean Connery.
Most people will say Sean Connery, but a lot of people would say Roger Moore because it was the first one. Here's a better one. Who's your favorite doctor? I know you don't watch Doctor Who, but asking somebody their favorite
9.
doctor.
9 is my favorite.
David
I know.
Tennant?
No.
Or Matt
9
Smith?
No. Christopher
Eccleston.
'Cause
I
he
can't
was my
remember the
first
numbers
doctor.
because they kept messing with the numbers. So
They did.
Okay, Eccleston.
Yeah,
So Eccleston was your first doctor, so he's your favorite. Most people these days would say Tennant.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
my
very
fa-
close second.
My favorite is the third Doctor,
Really?
John Pertwee. Close
Not
second.
4.
No, not 4. No, close second would be Matt Smith.
Mm.
So, and there's not a wrong or right answer to that one.
There's a wrong or right answer between Avengers and Wonder Woman.
I'm not sure about that. Okay, how about this? I did not get a single moment in Avengers where I felt like standing up and cheering and just got emotionally moved the way I did is Wonder Woman climbing up that ladder and crossing No Man's Land.
That was a great scene, but again, with the Avengers, that's some sneaky crap. I'm always angry. That didn't fire you up a little bit when Hulk just smashes that thing? Or they all stand in a big circle and they all kind of cameras pass around them. Avengers had so many parts of that movie that made you want to cheer.
One of the things you don't like is the slow motion stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things I don't like in movies is the going around and around in a circle thing.
That was one part of Avengers.
Well, no, I'm not saying that ruined the movie. You pick that scene, and I don't like that because of the round and around thing. I just...
I thought that I mind the slow motion. I felt Wonder Woman had too much slow motion, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
Too many close-ups. Way too many close-ups.
Can you have too many close-ups of Wonder Woman?
No, you can't.
It was just her. It was other people too.
Well, they were all pretty much good-looking people.
Her and Chris Pine. It's just too many close-up. I know what her face looks like. We're done now. Now I would like to see full body shots of like the outfit because I might be cosplaying that later this year.
Okay. So we're going to segue from what you just said.
I'm going to do it anyway, just to spite you.
Yeah, but not the cosplay part, but the we're done now comment. We're done now because we only have 3 minutes left in our podcast. So to make sure we have time to bring up what we're doing next, we mentioned earlier that I watched Batman over the weekend. Yep. You've mentioned watching Michael Keaton Batman recently, and it gave us an idea. We're going to start a new segment. I don't know which one we're going to do first for our movie. Maybe we'll do a couple different movies in there. I don't know. But next time we're going to try to do a new segment. Does it hold up?
You can do that voice when you do it? That'd be awesome.
Does it hold up?
No,
every single time.
I'm bored of it already.
Okay, well, we're going to look at movies that we have fond memories of. We all have them. TV shows, could be TV shows, could be cartoons, could be whatever. Things we all go, oh, I love that show. And then we watch it and we hate to admit that it was really garbage. It worked at the time.
Hasn't aged well.
Right, not aged well, or it was garbage and just hit us because we were 5 years old when we watched it. And it doesn't, we don't age with it, or whatever. But it's, that's a segment for next time. And of course, as always, the B-Man. Question of the week.
Well, you mentioned Michael Keaton, you mentioned Adam West, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Easy question. Who is your Batman?
Kevin Conroy, because I'm not going to be here next week.
Well, that's an awesome question for you, which thank God you're here next week.
So, for next time, we'll be answering, does it hold up, in reference to some movie or TV or multiples,
right.
And who is your Batman?
Right.
Can I add on to that?
Sure.
Just since we're talking Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, all those, and they've all had multiple actors, not only who is your Batman, but who is your Superman and who is your Wonder Woman?
Fine.
George Newbern.
Will you stop talking?
No, because I'm not going to be here next week, so I have to answer these questions now.
All right. So,
can we go back in time and get rid of Flash and just not have it be this week?
I'm not sure we can do that.
Because no matter how many times you go back and change the universe, I'm still going to keep showing up, just like in the show.
So until next time, this is John Paul.
B-Man.
Red.
We're out of here.